You are sitting alone in a room. The door is closed. No one else is home. And yet, in the quiet, something brushes against the back of your awareness. A quiet certainty that you are not as alone as the empty room inside you are. You turn around. There is no one there. Of course, there is no one there. But your heart had already started to beat a little faster before your eyes confirmed the truth. Why? You have felt it standing in a parking garage at night. You have felt it walking down an empty hallway. You have felt it in your own bedroom in the dark. That prickle along the back of the neck, that pull to turn and look, the strange animal conviction that a pair of eyes has found you. Most people assume it means nothing, a trick of the nurse, a jumpy imagination, but the real answer is far stranger because that feeling is not a malfunction. It is one of the oldest survival systems you carry, older than language, older than fire, older than your species itself. And it is doing exactly what it was built to do. To understand it, you have to go back, not a few hundred years, not a few thousand, millions. Your distant ancestors did not live in rooms. They lived on open grasslands and at the edges of forests, surrounded by things that wanted to eat them. Leopards, hyenas, big cats that hunted by stalking, by waiting, by watching from the tall grass before they struck. For these predators, the eyes came first. The stare came before the pounds. So picture two early humans on that ancient plain. One of them has a brain that ignored the feeling of being watched. The other has a brain that snaps to attention at the faintest hint of a hidden gaze. Which one lives long enough to have children? The answer wrote itself into your nervous system. The descendants of the nervous ones, the ones who turned around, the ones who flinched at shadows, and the ones who survived to pass their gains forward. You are one of those descendants. Every single one of your ancestors, going back an unbroken chain of millions of years, but alert enough, anxious enough, watchful enough to live another day. You did not inhabit the calm ones. The calm ones got eaten. This is what scientists call the agency detection system. Your brain is constantly scanning the world and asking one quiet question beneath all your other thoughts. Is something out there? Is something alive? Is something paying attention to me? And here is the part that matters. The system is deliberately broken in one direction. It is designed to make mistakes. Think about the two kinds of errors your brain could make. It could feel watched when nothing is there, or it could feel safe when a predator is, in fact, watching. The first mistake costs you a jolt of fear and a wasted glance over your shoulder. The second mistake costs you your life. So evolution made a choice on your behalf. Long before you were born, it turned your brain to cry wolf, to assume the rustle in the grass is a lion, not divine, to feel the eyes even when there are no eyes, because a thousand false alarms are a price worth paying to avoid the one real treat that ends everything. The psychologist Justin Barrett gave this a name. He called it the hypersensitive agency detection device, a clunky phrase for a simple idea. Your mind would rather see a mind that is not there than miss a mind that is. You are wired to overdetect attention, overdetect intention, overdetect the presence of other beings. It is safer to be wrong about a ghost than to be right about a predator 1 second too late. But maybe you are skeptical. Maybe you are thinking that this is just a story, a clever guess about the deep past with no way to test it. So let me tell you about the experiments. Scientists wanted to know whether humans could actually detect a gaze they could not see. The biologist Rupert Sheldrake ran a long series of staring trials where one person sat with their back turned while another either stared at them or looked away, and the seated person had to guess. His results suggested people sensed it slightly more often than chance. His work is controversial, and many researchers pushed back hard on these methods, but the controversy itself revealed how badly we want to know the answer to this question. The deeper science came from somewhere else, from the brain itself. There is a region buried deep in your brain called the amygdala. Think of it as your internal alarm system, the part that processes fear before you are even consciously aware of being afraid. And researchers discovered something remarkable about how it responds to eyes. The scientists, Alan Pigna, studied a patient who was surgically blind. The visual centers of this man's brain were damaged. He could not consciously see anything at all, and yet, when researchers showed him faces with eyes pointed directly at him, his amygdala lit up. His fear center responded to a direct stare that his conscious mind could not even perceive. Listen to that again. A man who could not see was still detecting when he was being looked at. This tells you something profound. The detection of a gaze does not require your eyes or your conscious awareness. It runs on an older, deeper, faster track, a subcortical highway that bypasses your thinking mind entirely and speaks directly to your fear. It evolved to be fast because in the world it was built for. Slow meant death. And then there are the eye spots. Look closely at the wings of certain moths and butterflies. Look at the feathers of a peacock. Look at the markings on certain fish and caterpillars. You will find them everywhere in nature. Two dark circles, a pair of false eyes. Creatures evolved this pattern specifically because predators flinch at the sight of a stare. The illusion of being watched is so powerful, so universal, that animals across millions of years of evolution learn to fake it just to survive. Eyes are a language every living thing already speaks. So the feeling in that empty room is not madness, it is heritage. But now comes the twist. The same system that kept your ancestors alive is the system that haunts your modern life in ways you rarely notice. Consider this. Researchers have repeatedly found that when people are shown even a crude image of eyes, just two dots and a line, their behavior changes. In one well-known study, a coffee station with an honestly box collection nearly 3 times more money when a picture of eyes was taped about it compared to a picture of flowers. No one was actually watching. The eyes were printed on a paper, and still people behaved as though they were being seen. Your sense of being watched does not just frighten you, it governs you. It makes you more honest, more cautious, more cooperative. The simple feeling of a gaze, real or imagined, quietly steers your morality. Now, think about the world you have built around yourself. Cameras on every street corner, a glowing rectangle in your pocket that may or may not be listening, social media feeds where thousands of invisible strangers can watch your life unfold. You live, for the first time in human history, inside a world that is genuinely, constantly watching you, and your ancient alarm system, the one tuned for leopards in the grass, has no idea what to do with it. This is why you feel uneasy when you cannot find your phone, why you perform a slightly different version of yourself online, why the little camera dot on your laptop can make your skin crawl. The watcher in the grass never went away. It just changed shape. It became a lens, a screen, a notification, a crowd of eyes you will never met. And here is the part that should give you pause. The feeling that someone is watching you, the one your ancestors needed to survive, is now being triggered all day, every day, by machines that actually are. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between a predator and a security camera. To the amygdala, a stare is a stare, so you walk through modern life with a low, constant hum of being observed, and you have stopped even noticing it. But let me bring you back to that quiet room. You turn around, there was no one there, and now you can know the truth. That prickle on your neck was not weakness or paranoia. It was a message sent across millions of years from every ancestor who survived because they trusted that feeling. It was the grassland speaking through your body. It was the leopard that your great 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 grandmother never saw, but somehow sensed and lived because of. The feeling of being watched is not a flaw in you. It is the reason you exist at all. So the next time you are sitting alone in a room, and the quiet starts to feel crowded, and something pulls at the back of your neck and tells you to turn around. You do not have to be afraid. You can simply listen, because that whisper is the oldest part of you, still standing guard, still scanning the dark, still doing the one job it has done faithfully for 100,000 generations, keeping you alive. You were never truly alone in that room. You had every ancestor you have ever descended from watching with you.